Welcome to our channel. Today we are guiding on understanding parking regulations in Portugal. Whether you're learning the driver's lesson and preparing for the theory exam, or a new driver who just needs a refresher, this video will help you navigate the rules to avoid fines and keep our roads safe. Scene 1. Permitted parking. Let's start with where you can park or where the parking is permitted. Outside towns, you can park off the carriageway. Inside towns, look for specially designated areas like vehicle parking zones. There are some free parking zones available. Also, there are paid parking zones and pre-parking zones as well. Pre-parking zones are also different by its color, actually the price, red, yellow, and green. Scene 2. Prohibited parking. Now, let's talk about where you can't park. Parking is prohibited in these situations. Vehicle blocking traffic. If it obstructs or delays vehicular traffic or forces vehicles into the opposite lane, whether on one-way or two-way streets. Vehicle double parked. On carriageways in the second row, also known as double parking, or in places where it blocks access to properly parked vehicles. Vehicle blocking a driveway. At entrances to properties, vehicle parks or parking spaces, it's forbidden to block a driveway. At level crossing and a petrol station, a vehicle cannot be parked too close to a level crossing and a petrol station, must not park less than 10 meters of either side of level crossings and less than 5 meters of either side of petrol stations' reserved parking spaces, in spaces reserved for certain vehicles indicated by signs. Cars must not park in the area that is reserved for others. A parking meter with a time limit. In a pre-parking zone, if you do not comply with the regulations and if you exceed the paid time for parking. No parking signs and road markings. If there are specific signs or road markings regarding prohibiting parking, they are vertical signs C15 and C16 or road markings M12, M12A, M13, M13A, M14 and M14A prohibiting the maneuver. Scene 3. Improper and abusive parking. A vehicle left in a public space for an extended period can lead to improper and abusive parking. Article 163 and Article 164 of the Highway Code emphasizes improper or abusive parking and its removal. It includes 1. An abandoned car, leaving a vehicle for 30 uninterrupted days in a public space, public highway, or in a car park or parking area exempt from the payment of any charge. 2. In parking, a vehicle in a pay and display parking area not paying the fees, especially if the fees for 5 days are unpaid. 3. In prepaid parking area, if the parking fee has not been paid or if paid for a certain time but the paid time has already expired or exceeded by more than 2 hours. 4. Limited parking space. If you stay in a limited parking space for more than 2 hours beyond the allowed time period. 5. Agricultural machinery trailers, agricultural vehicles, industrial machinery, trailers and semi-trailers not attached to the towing vehicle that remain in the same place for more than 72 hours. If they are parked in parking lots intended for this purpose and remain in the same place for more than 30 days. 6. Advertising vehicles. Advertising vehicles or trailers of other vehicles used for advertising that remain in the same place for more than 72 hours. 7. A run-down vehicle. In the case of vehicles that show obvious external signs of abandonment, disuse, or inability to move safely by their own means, and this lasts for more than 48 hours. 8. A vehicle for sale. Displaying a vehicle for sale in a parking space, or even displaying any information with a view to their transaction in a car park. 9. Vehicles without license plate. Vehicles without a registration plate or with a plate that does not allow the correct reading of the license plate. Respecting parking rules helps keep our roads safe and orderly, whether in free, paid, or prepaid parking zones. Knowing what's forbidden and what's abusive can save you from fines. Let's break it down with some examples. We'll use a table to make it easy to understand. In a free parking zone, there are specific rules to follow. Forbidden parking. If you don't respect signs or rules, like parking within 5 meters before and after an intersection, it's forbidden. Next, abusive parking. If your vehicle stays in the same spot for more than 30 days continuously, it is considered abusive. Now, let's look at paid parking areas. Forbidden parking. If you park in a spot reserved for someone else, it's forbidden. Abusive parking. If your car stays in the same spot for more than 5 days continuously, it is considered abusive. Finally, let's talk about prepaid parking zones. Abusive parking. If you park without paying the fee, it's abusive. Forbidden parking. If you pay for a certain time but exceed it by less than 2 hours, it's forbidden. But if you exceed the paid time by more than 2 hours, it becomes abusive parking. Scene 4. Removal of vehicles. Vehicles may be removed if they are improperly parked, creating a danger or serious disruption to traffic, or parked in places that justify removal for safety or emergency reasons. Vehicles may be removed if they are unduly or abusively parked, as we talked before, parked or immobilized on the side of a motorway or similar road, parked or immobilized in such a way as to constitute an obvious danger or serious disturbance to traffic, parked or immobilized in places that, for reasons of safety, public order, emergency or rescue, justify removal. Scene 5. Obvious danger or serious disruption to traffic. The following cases of parking or immobilization constitute obvious danger or serious disruption to traffic. On a road or corridor reserved for public transport, at a stopping place for public passenger transport vehicles, at a signposted pedestrian or cycle crossing, on pavements or in an area reserved exclusively for vulnerable users, on the carriageway other than by the curb or pavement, in a place intended for vehicle or pedestrian access to properties, garages or parking spaces, in a place intended for parking vehicles of certain categories, at the service of certain organizations or used to transport disabled people, in a place used to stop vehicles for loading and unloading operations or picking up and setting down passengers, impeding vehicular traffic or requiring the use of the part of the carriageway intended for the opposite direction, depending on whether traffic is traveling in one or two directions, on the carriageway in the second row, in a place where it prevents access to or egress from other duly parked vehicles, at night on the carriageway, outside localities, except in the event of immobilization due to a duly signposted breakdown, on the carriageway of a motorway or similar road. These all may lead you to removal of your vehicle. Scene 6. Specific prohibited locations. Parking or stopping is specifically prohibited in the following locations. 1. Tunnel. Vehicle in tunnels, subways and overpasses. 2. Cycle lanes. Vehicle in a cycle lane. 3. Roundabouts. Roundabouts and their center plates. 4. Motorways. Vehicles on highways and roads reserved for cars and motorbikes. 5. Bridges including 25 de Abril Bridge and North Viaduct. 6. Level crossings. 7. Traffic islands. 8. Sidewalk. 9. Reversible lanes. 10. Bus lanes. 11. Other special lanes such as cycle or pedestrian lanes. It is also forbidden to stop and park if the following: before and after 3 meter of continuous longitudinal line, before and after 5 meter of roundabout, before and after 5 meter of crossings, intersections and junctions, 5 meter before pedestrian, bicycle crossings, 6 meter before stop sign for vehicles on rails, 20 meter before. If the height of the vehicle covers the light and vertical signs, 25 meter before the bus stop and 5 meter after the bus stop, where there is signal indicated for public vehicles to collect the passengers. 50 meters before and after the crossings, junctions, traffic circles, curves and speed bumps with reduced visibility. Remember, following these parking regulations helps keep everyone safe and traffic flowing smoothly. For more details, refer to Articles 163 and 164 of the Highway Code. Drive safely and park responsibly. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more driving tips.